Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about astrological or zodiac sign compatibility between Cancer and Sagittarius. And yes, it does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant for both people. Now, the thing about this is they are inconjunct by sign. I see this combination is incompatible. Um, Cancer is, of course, an introverted sign. It is a feminine sign suggesting introversion and privacy. And Cancers are very often very much homebodies. They're often dominated by home and family life. And you have, and also can be more pessimistic and more pessimistic than optimistic and more subjective than objective. Well, you have a Sagittarius that can seem almost the antithesis of Cancer because Sagittarius is a masculine sign and suggests extroversion. And they're obviously, Sagittarius is really, I think, unequivocally the most optimistic of all signs and more objective as opposed to Cancer. Sagittarius is constantly focusing on expanding their horizons. Their nature is very expansive, upbeat, and optimistic. We have Cancer is being subjective. They could also be very temperamental and moody. And the thing about this is Sagittarius really likes to be upbeat, and they really having if somebody is remotely negative to them or they really it does not go well with them. They don't really like to be surrounded by anybody that even can be remotely negative, and Cancer can be more negative as opposed to Sagittarius. Now, the thing about this combination as well is that Cancer can also be very clingy and sometimes possessive. And Sagittarius can be very adventurous. They like the outdoors often. They're often about exploration. Sagittarius is very often very travel minded, and Cancer can be a little bit more stagnant and sedentary. They're often more concerned about the security and having their stability of their home life. On the positive side, they could give that to Sagittarius, and Sagittarius can help expand Cancer's horizons and maybe bring them out, go outside more, make them have them meet more people. And Cancer, well, the one thing that could be good about this is that you have Cancer can really be an exceptional and astounding listener. And you have Sagittarius likes to philosophize often. So Cancer is really could really may enjoy listening to a Sagittarius with their with them talking about their ideas, their philosophies, their concepts. And in that respect, it could actually, that would be one positive. The thing about this is, though, you look at it, one thing to look at, if this is a significant other situation and these people live together, well, monetarily things may be a little bit different. There may be a disparity between the two because Cancer being dominated by security in the home, they're not quite, they're really, they like to be pragmatic regarding financial matters, and they're more inclined to hold on to the money to save for their home, for example, and perhaps if these people have children, putting things away in that nest egg for them for college or what have you. And Sagittarius is not, compared to Cancer, is not much, is not as, does not emphasize saving quite as much. And Cancer might think, well, Sagittarius is spending on these frivolous things that doesn't need to be spent on. And as far as in the bedroom between these two signs, well, the thing about this is, well, Cancer, as I've stated before about being moody and temperamental, a lot of that could depend on their mood. Cancer wants that emotional rapport and connection in the bedroom. Sagittarius, being as expansive and as they are, they could often be very exuberant, and even as far as sex goes, they could be the same way regarding that. But Cancer might see Sagittarius as someone that doesn't always have brings that emotional sensitivity, or maybe that they don't feel that emotional connection really with them as far as sex goes. So that could be something to look at as far as that the combination as far as the bedroom goes, so to speak. And the thing about this is, the key is maybe for these two signs to find some happy medium between the home and the outdoors. I think that's one of the biggest disparities between the two, is that Cancer can be dominated by the home and family life, while you have Sagittarius that likes to meander and go out to here and there, and they don't like to really be confined into one particular, I guess you could say, like setting or certain location for too long. And Sagittarius might really be strong about moving to different places, and Cancer generally is going to be a little bit more reluctant to move. The thing about this, though, what's interesting is that Cancer might have a little more of an aversion to moving to a different home or location, but it seems like Cancer may have a number of changes of residence during their lifetime. As many of you may know, my sun's sign is Cancer, and I've moved around to so many places. I literally, I mean, I'm not distorting or exaggerating things, people. This was like I had about at least 20 moves since around 2010 sometime, I think. I mean, the word peripatetic would be an understatement for me. Well, anyway, it's also important to look at the aspect, if any, that is made between these two people with these energies, as this could indicate whether this might work as well, may work a little better than otherwise indicated, or maybe not as well as otherwise indicated. So anyway, in many cases, you will have the inconjunct aspect take place between these people with these energies. Let's say, for example, one person has the sun, moon, or ascendant at Cancer at 17 degrees, and the other person has the sun, moon, or ascendant at Sagittarius at 19 degrees. Well, that would form an inconjunct aspect, which I see as being adverse or adversarial. And inconjuncts are often about adjustments. They're already inconjunct by sign, so you have a little bit of a double whammy as far as this goes, if you have the inconjunct aspect between these two people. Now, you could also have an out of sign opposition aspect take place between the energies of these people. Let's say, for example, one person has the sun, moon, or ascendant at Cancer at 1 degree, and the other person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Sagittarius at 28 degrees. Well, that would form an out of sign opposition aspect, which could be adverse or adversarial and negative. And these people can really be strongly opposed in many of their viewpoints and in many of their ways of being. And keep in mind, though, they are also inconjunct by sign, so you have that adjustment right there by sign. They're already adverse by sign as far as compatibility. They're incompatible by sign, and then you have the strong incompatibility with this opposition. So you got to take that and factor that into the equation. Now, you could also have an out of sign trine aspect take place between the energies of these people. Let's say, for example, one person has the sun, moon, or ascendant at Cancer at 29 degrees, and the other person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Sagittarius at 1 degree. Well, that would form an out of sign trine aspect, which could be auspicious and positive, and you might have a little more harmonious blending of these two than otherwise indicated, and these people may be able to work through the disparities a little bit better because of this. But keep in mind, they are still inconjunct by sign. They are still incompatible by sign, so you've got to factor that into the equation, so to speak, as well. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for zodiac or astrological sign compatibility between Cancer and Sagittarius. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about zodiac sign compatibility between Cancer and Capricorn. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.